Hi boys and girls, today we're gonna have some fun painting some flamingos. And flamingos are birds that are pink in color. And I don't know if you knew this, but they're actually born white, but their diet of red algae makes them pink. So we're gonna add some flamingos today and we get to do some painting. Now if you don't have paints, that's okay. You can do the same thing with crayon or marker. So the paints or colors you're gonna need are our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. And I always substitute my red with pink. That makes our colors look brighter when we mix them together. And pink is the perfect color for our flamingo. Then I have some black to outline if I want to. And I have some white to make things lighter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my paintbrush and my water ready. I got a bowl of water next to me, and I got a couple different paintbrushes. I got a big one and a small one. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to paint my flamingo. So I'm gonna dip my water, I'm gonna dip my brush in the water, and I'm gonna make some light pink. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the pink and a touch of the white, and I'm gonna try to make it a little bit lighter. This will also help if you only have red and you don't have pink. You can make it with some white. Now I add a little bit of water to my paint just to make it a little bit thinner, just so it's nice and light. All right, so this could be the perfect color for our flamingo. So we're gonna paint him. We're not gonna draw him. We're gonna paint it. So we're gonna start with his little head, and the head is gonna go near the top of my page, and then I'm gonna go over to the side a little bit, and I'm gonna start by painting a circle. Once I paint my circle, I fill it in, just like that. So that's gonna be the head of my flamingo. Now, whenever I run out of paint, no big deal, I just pick some more up, okay? Now we're gonna do the body. And the body is gonna look like a lemon or an eyeball. So I'm gonna go down from my head, and this time I'm gonna go to the right side, and I'm gonna start by painting a rainbow. Just like that, and then right below, I paint a smile. So there's my lemon or football. And then, just like the head, I paint it inside. Now, what happens if you're painting and you run out of your light pink? Can you mix more? Absolutely. All right, now the end that's opposite of his head, I'm making it into more of a point because that's where his little tail's gonna go. So I just made that more pointy on that end. All right, so we have his head and his body. Now for his long neck. So I'm gonna connect the circle to my little football shape using a wavy line, just like that. And he's got a pretty thick neck because he's gotta hold that head up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make it a little bit thicker, just like that. So now I have the flamingo body. Now for his legs. Now, these birds are the only ones that stand on one leg. So let's do it. So we're gonna make a number 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and go from the body, and I'm gonna paint a line down almost to the bottom of the page. And then I'm gonna make the top part of the 4. So I go over, go down, over to the right, but instead of stopping there with a 4, I'm gonna go past it just a little bit like that. Okay, can you see my number 4 now? Nice. Then all I do is paint little feet. So I paint a little line going one direction, and then I paint another little line like that. So now he's got some little toesies. All right, what do you guys think? Pretty cool? Yes. All right, now my flamingo is done, and now I just get to add more detail. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna add some water. Now flamingos love the water, so I'm gonna paint some blue right below him. So I have some blue here. Now if I want it to be lighter, I can take my blue and add a little bit of, that's right, some white to it. Perfect. Now I also love to water this down too, just so it makes it nice and thin. Now I want my blue to be really light, so I might add some more white to it. Now have I touched my black paint yet? No way. And let me add a little bit more water. I want it to be nice and thin. Oh, that's a perfect color. Uh-oh, I got some blue paint on there. No big deal. So now I'm just gonna paint right below my flamingo. And I'm gonna add some blue. Now, if I don't paint it perfectly, is that okay? Of course it is. Art never has to be perfect. That's what makes it so special. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my water. Right, now that my water's full, I'm gonna go ahead and add some ripples in the water just to give it some movement. So I already have my regular blue. So I'm gonna water it down just a little bit. And I'm gonna use this darker blue that I haven't added any white to it. And I'm gonna add some ripples. And what I mean by ripples is we're just adding the letter C to them. And I add a letter C on both sides. And then I make them go bigger and bigger until I run out of water. Now if I need a little bit more blue, no big deal. I just dip it in there. Look at those cool ripples. Isn't that fun? All right, now we're gonna work on the sky. And I haven't forgotten about our last primary color, yellow. So I'm gonna do the same thing with yellow, bring some over, and of course, I'm gonna lighten it up with some, that's right, some white. We want light yellow. Now, sometimes you need a lot of white to lighten up these colors. Perfect. And again, I want it to be nice and light. So I'm gonna add some water to it. And now I get to paint the sky. So I just do my best going around my flamingo. All right, now I have my sky in there. And I think it would be fun to add a pattern in the sky. So I'm gonna use my original yellow. All right, boys and girls, let's add some more fun details to our painting. This time I wanna mix some colors. I want some orange, so I'm gonna mix a little bit of red and yellow together. And again, I like it to be nice and thin, so I add some water. If I need a little bit more yellow, I add some more. If I need a little bit more red, I add some more red. And because, you know, the sky can be many colors, I'm gonna go ahead and add some more little patterns in there using my orange. What a fun little sky. Awesome. All right, now let's make some green for some plants. So to make green, I'm gonna add blue and I'm gonna add yellow together. Now the more blue we add, the darker the green. The more yellow we add, the lighter. So let's add some plants. So I'm gonna have them growing from the water up to the sky. So first plant I'm gonna make, just gonna pull up my brush, and then as it gets to the top, I lift it up. So I can make some tall little grasses, and I can paint them over my flamingo, or they can go behind him. Just like that. Now I want my green to be a little brighter, so I'm gonna add some more yellow to it. And I can add some other plants using little lines. And again, they can go behind my flamingo, or they can go around him. Okay, you can even also have some plants growing down, just like some vines. Maybe they're just really long plants. Awesome. All right, now I'm gonna switch my brushes and I'm gonna start to add some details with my black. So I want my black to be nice and thin, so I add some water to him, thin it out a little bit, so I can outline him. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna paint around the shape of my flamingo. All right, now that I painted the outside shape of him, I'm gonna add more details. So I need to add his little beak. So on the front of his face, I'm gonna paint a curved line down and a curved line back. And then I just paint it in. He's gonna have a black beak, just like that. Then I'm gonna give him a little circle for an eyeball. Perfect. And then I'm gonna add his little wing. So I'm gonna add a rainbow and a smile, and then maybe some little curve lines for the feathers, just like that. Now I have a finished flamingo. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Oh my goodness, I had so much fun painting this one. I hope you did too. Now, if your little guy looks too scary, we can add a little white part of his eye. I just turn my paintbrush over to the back and I can make that part of his eye white again. Doesn't he look more friendly that way? I think so. All right, friends. See you next time. Bye.